All right. Hello, everybody. Once you come in, you're probably going to see a poll pop up asking about the tacos. We're excited.
Welcome. See, got a lot of people so far.
Awesome. And there's the poll.
Did you make the tacos? Did you make one taco? Did you make two of the tacos?
Tacos.
Did you make all the tacos?
We made all the tacos in this house. We are taco fools. So
I made a combination of two of the tacos in my own style.
nice. Nice. Hello, everybody. We're excited to get started.
Yeah, let us know where you're coming from in the
Yeah.
chat. Make sure you're chatting to both the hosts and the panelists so everybody can see.
Perfect. I think if you do the drop down box and it says everyone, then we will get your messages, but then everybody else in the chat will too. There we go. Everybody's starting to come in now.
Yeah.
We have some South Dakota, Wisconsin, Colorado, Missouri.
Didn't make any tacos, but they bought the recipe. Deb and Fred, good.
Awesome.
Cincinnati, New York. Yeah, New York.
Yay. Welcome, everybody. All right.
Cool. All right, we'll give it about 1 more minute. See how long it takes to fill in a little bit. Wait for the stragglers.
That's right. I know but when it comes to tacos, I'm like, I'm here. I'm ready. Yes. Sue asked, which wine should I have in my hand? We will start with the bubbly. We will start with the Laura Lee.
Yep.
We've got somebody from Jersey. Hi, Buddha. Welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Cool. All right, well, let's get started. Welcome to the Firstly Fiesta, the Cinco de Mayo taco pairing. We are so excited. We haven't done anything like this yet, really this involved. And so we're really excited that you guys joined us. Let's see. Oh, most of you made all three. Yay.
Awesome.
Cool.
Very, very cool.
All right. Well, just a little introduction here. You're going to keep your mics and your cameras off. It should happen automatically, but if not, just make sure you check that. And it's, we don't want to be interrupting anybody. Make sure that you're chatting to everyone in the chat box. Just hit that little drop down and click everyone. That way we can all see your questions. And we're just going to get started. My name is Lindsay. I'm one of the wine concierge here. I've been here since about August. I live in New York, and I'm going to open up this bottle of sparkling for you so that we have something to sip on while we chat for a little bit. Just a quick recap on how to open a bottle of sparkling without too much trouble. I'm going to give you the cheat method. You're going to take the foil off, put it down. Oh, and also mine, if you're wondering, was not cold. So a quick tip, if your wine is not cold, wrap it in a wet paper towel, stick it in the freezer, ice cold in about 45 minutes, and the paper towel is frozen to the bottle. So hopefully I'll be able to take it off soon. But anyway, so my wine is cold. I'm gonna take my little wire tab here. I'm gonna twist it. It's about 6 times. And then here's the trick. Don't take the cage off. You don't need to be a fancy sommelier in a fancy restaurant. Keep the cage on. It gives you something to grab onto, and then you can just easily twist gently. You don't want to spray the ceiling, remember. You just want to slowly urge that cork out. And happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to sip on this, and I'm going to throw it to Lauren to chat about herself.
Perfect. I'm Erin. And I am
Erin, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'll introduce Lauren too. I'm Erin. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. I am also a wine concierge here. I've been here since September and having a lot of fun. I've met, we've done a couple tastings and I'm just having so much fun doing this. Lauren, our other wine concierge, will be in the chat, answering questions and interacting with you guys. So feel free to ask anything that's on your mind. And last, but most certainly not least, the man behind the tacos. We have Duane. That's right. We have Duane. He is the one that came up with our taco recipes tonight for the pairing. So tell us a little about yourself.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks, Erin.
Yes.
My name's Duane Jones. I go by Healthy Choice on social media platforms such as Instagram. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a North Carolina native. I was born in Greensboro, but I currently reside in Charlotte. And if you've been following me, or as you can already see, I'm a homemade chef over here. I'm a homemade chef and also a fitness enthusiast and trainer, as well as a fashion guy as well. So I am all three, but tonight we are Cinco de Mayo Taco Tuesday. Yes, for sure.
That's right. That is right. I love it. So where did your love for healthy food and cooking and all of that come from? Where did it all begin?
Well, honestly, I think my love for just food in general came from eating. I think when you realize that food tastes good, and sometimes the better the food tastes, the more expensive and more high quality it gets. So I figured out that in order for me to pretty much eat some of the foods that I would most likely enjoy but can't afford, I would need to learn how to make them. And but also in the same retrospect, I'm also, again, a trainer, and I'm really one of those people who speak wellness and healthy habits into everybody, including myself. So it really is something that I try to find joy in. That's more or less what really brought me into cooking, because I wanted to really help the people that I worked with build that bridge between the kitchen and the gym, where, so I was really great at, putting people through some tough workouts, but, given the direction in the kitchen, I couldn't really say for myself, I wasn't hands-on. So I figured the best way to really be able to help people is to get in here and dive in myself. And I found that, doing things the simple way, the, choice by choice way, really makes things easy. And you're able to create really, really great tasting food, like our taco recipes, and they're really quick to make, really tasty, and healthier than what you would find in most places or going out to eat somewhere,
Right. I love that. Yeah, I myself and my family are plant-based. So I loved your cauliflower tacos, and I did make the fish tacos using a vegan fish substitute today, and it was perfect. I didn't miss the fish at all. But what was your process for preparing these recipes? Did you come at it from a certain angle?
Well, I will admit, I try to cover all angles, I will say. So I know that there are some people who are plant-based, like yourself. I know there's some people who enjoy red meat, and some people who would rather stay on the lighter side and do more of the pescatarian or the fish or seafood option. So usually when I'm given an opportunity to kind of cover any type of bases, I try to get all three. And so I did get some help from my wine culture here in terms of how to really pair the wines. But I definitely wanted to sit down and make, something that is really easy and quick, something like a carne asada that I feel goes well. That's what I have. That's what I have here tonight. Yeah, to go well with a red wine type deal, but something that you can just slap on the grill or throw in the oven. The air hot honey tacos, the fish tacos, are really, really simple to make, and you can use any type of white fish. Like you said, you didn't even use fish, so it really is about how to make something juicy and simple. I got dogs in my hallway. Really juicy and simple, and really just help people with the flavor and aspect of it. And then, with the cauliflower, I like throwing that twist in there because a lot of people don't even know that purple cauliflower exists. And so,
I know.
so I like to not only use what you can find, you know, when you go out to some of these nice taco restaurants and side taco trucks, you'll see those things on the menu, but you also may not find some of the things that you can make in your kitchen as well, that you can find in your grocery store. So the cauliflower tacos are really, really great substitute for those who are plant-based. It's really nice to eat something that has a good familiar texture, but it's not, you know, what you're anticipating that you'll miss, you know? And that's one of the things that I like to really kind of get into with everybody is, you know, when you're choosing to eat a certain way, or when you're eating anything, you really can't have an expectation except for what does this taste like? And so the first thing that really pops into people is what it looks like. And so I figure as long as it looks good,
right,
you know, whether it's red meat, fish, or no meat, then we're on the right track. So that's really why I try to get all three of them when I was given the opportunity to.
Sure. I think what's so cool about cauliflower, and especially what you did with it, is you can really spice it so many different ways, and you almost trick yourself into thinking that you're not even eating cauliflower. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think it's really cool. Your recipe for that is just really awesome. But we have a couple questions for you from the audience, and everybody keep sending in your questions if you have anything for Duane.
Oh, Lord.
The first question is purple cauliflower easy to find?
Yes, I get mine literally right down the street at Harris Teeter. I've shopped at Harris Teeter in both Charlotte and in Durham, which is another city 2.5 hours away. And I found it in both places. They have purple, they have orange, and they have your standard white. I'm not gonna say that they bring any different health benefits to the table, but you know, it will trick your mind, like you said, when that purple cauliflower starts to cook, it starts to look brown and really just plays you on you. You don't have to worry about it. But yeah, somebody said Whole Foods as well. Yep, I've seen it in there also. But really, it's just look. You know, when you go in there, we're so stuck on looking for that one familiar thing. We don't really shop, right? So I tell my people definitely go in there and just take a step back, see what's in there, see what you have and haven't tried, and put it in your basket.
Absolutely. The next question is, what can you use instead of Harissa? Did I say that right? Harissa?
Yeah, Harissa. So the Harissa seasoning is an African Harissa seasoning. It's just another type of spice similar to cayenne pepper. So if you're looking to substitute it for something else, paprika, cayenne pepper, any type of spice that you have in your cabinet would work, kind of red-based spice. But if you're looking to not add that spicy component to it, you can simply leave that Harissa out. It really is just for more of a heat component if you're more of somebody that likes a little bit of a kick. So you can turn it up more by adding more, or you can turn it down more by adding less, or just take it out altogether.
Yeah, for sure. One more question. What is your absolute favorite dish to cook and eat? So I guess it's a double answer question.
Oh man. I'll be honest. What I've been answering with people lately is I really don't know. I really don't know, because every time I make something new, it really does wow me. And I don't say that out of a big head moment, but I really try to have fun and go into it a little blindly, like I'm creating a little masterpiece every night. And so usually it's the meal that I ate the night before, if it's a really good one. And usually those are the meals that I post. So I'd say like the latest one right now, latest one for sure, hands down, would be my vegan lasagna rolls. There's some vegan lasagna rolls, and I make those with broccolini instead of ground beef. And you you basically make your lasagna strips. You lay down a layer of feta, no, it's not feta cheese, ricotta cheese, but I like to add like spinach and stuff to it and roll them up, put them in there, douse the sauce over them, nice and cheesy. I use vegan cheese and everything also. So I'm not a very cheesy guy. I can't have it, if you catch my drift. So once I found vegan cheese, I really found a whole nother world to deal with. So that's probably my number one right now. Favorite one to make. It's a little messy, but you always end up having some left over. You can throw them in the freezer, and they're really, really good. Yeah. So if I have to choose, it's those. But my official answer is, I don't know.
I agree. Vegan cheese has come a long way since I first went vegan 10 years ago. It's leaps and bounds above where it used to be. And I saw Shirley asked what I used instead of fish. I used a pretty popular name brand fishless fillet that you can find pretty much most of your local grocery stores, Target, things like that. Just look in the plant-based meat section of the freezer and you should find it. It's blue. It's in a blue bag.
Does anybody have any more questions for Duane? All right.
Quiet.
That'd be crazy.
So Lauren just put his Instagram handle in, but Duane, tell everybody where we can find you and where we can see all of your recipes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. You can find me primarily on Instagram. It's Healthy Choice, spelling healthy with an I instead of a Y. And you can also type that in to Google and everything else will pop up. But I also have a website that's called welcometoblack.com. You can check out all of my food, fitness, and fashion kind of adventures on there as well. But definitely check me out on Instagram. You'll find all of my recipes on there. I add them to music and fun little reels. So you get some steps along the way and you get to see some food being done and me act just as goofy as I am on this call in my daily actions. Yeah, so come on over, and I really do appreciate you guys for having me on, and for everybody trying those recipes. I really hope you guys enjoy them and try them. Okay, don't just let those bad boys sit. All right, give those bad boys a try.
Don't worry. We're gonna be.
Yeah, everybody, and tag me or send me a picture. I love to see people make different types of food, and if you have any other requests, I like getting those too, because you never know what people want to eat. You know, never know.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much, Duane. We appreciate your work and your enthusiasm, and hopefully we see you again soon.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks, Lindsay. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Lauren. See you guys later.
All right. So yeah, now we're going to talk about the wine, talk about the recipes, do what we do best here at First Leaf. So the first one we're going to try is that sparkling that we already opened up and we've probably been sipping on for a while now. We're going to talk quickly about why Aaron and I have it in the glass that looks like just a regular white wine glass. And that's just because when you're trying the sparkling, sometimes it's easier to really get in there and smell it and look at it when it's not in a flute. Flutes are great. They preserve the bubbles, which is what we love about sparkling. But for our purpose right now, we just put it in a regular white wine glass. So this is our non-vintage Lauralee Brut from California. Non-vintage just meaning there wasn't a particular year that these grapes were harvested from. It could be a collection of different years. This particular sparkling is composed of French Cauliflower, which is a white grape variety from France. It's a hybrid of Chenin Blanc and something called Gouais Blanc, two French very popular grapes. It's grown all over the world, primarily in France, the US, and actually South Africa, but you're really only going to find Colombard wines in France in like a brandy sort of production. You're not going to find too many Colombards at your local wine store. Typically, it's blended with some Sauvignon Blanc or some Chenin Blanc to make a really nice, bright white wine blend. A lot of times it's known for its notes of apple, honeydew, peach, lemongrass, almond. So we're going to see if we notice any of those from our Laura Lee today. So I'm going to try to keep it in front of me so we can see it. I'm going to pour a little bit more so we can kind of get an idea of what those bubbles look like. You know, I love my bubble finesse. These seem to have a little bit of a tighter bubble structure, really kind of small and delicate. They sort of settle on the top of the glass. I don't see too many coming up from the bottom. So it's just going to sort of settle on the top and spread out a little bit. So the grapes are on the card, Marcelo. If you get the card, all that information should be on there if you're looking for it. Our ABV on this is about 11%. So a daytime sipper, not going to knock you off your feet tonight too much. And note, Shirley, you can use whatever glass you want. It's fine. You can use a champagne glass. You can use a jelly jar. You can use a wine glass. It doesn't matter. It tastes just the same in either one. So we're not going to swirl this one. I started to do it. I'll do that.
Nope, don't swirl because you'll lose the bubbles.
Exactly. We don't want to break up those bubbles. Keep an eye on it. What color do you think that looks like, Erin?
I think that it's got a little bit of gold to it, but it's pale. Definitely pale, but I would definitely say some gold. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's really light, really golden.
Absolutely.
Sparkly. It's got that sort of, reminds me of like a gold leaf.
Yeah,
totally. In a fancy bar, right?
Totally. And I find myself wanting to swirl it just because that's what I do naturally, but
So
I'm trying really hard to not. So
try
instead
to
of swirling it, I'm just going to go ahead and sniff it and
There you go.
see what it smells like.
See what it smells like first. Perfect. Okay.
I definitely get fruit, but I get something else with it too. I think for me, it's almost like a breadiness of some sort, just slightly.
Yeah, I kind of get that almond
Yeah.
brioche sort of note that they talked about. I think it's definitely subtle, but it's there.
And then I think I get a little bit of pear, a little bit of something refreshing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of apple, but I can't say it's like, maybe it's like a yellow apple, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter loves these things called Opal Apples, and they're like these yellow, really sweet apples, and they're like crazy expensive. So of course she loves them.
Yeah.
But like Duane said before, when you go to the grocery store, you know, take a look around, pick up something you've never tried before, smell it. You know, we get so many questions on where do I find these mysterious scents or these mysterious tastes that you're tasting.
Right.
And it's really, it's just going out and smelling stuff and tasting stuff and feeding that memory bank that you have so you can draw on it. You know, when you think about an orange, you know what an orange smells like if you've smelled an orange before.
Right.
So yeah, just go try things, experience things.
Allison said a bit like grass, summer grass. I can see that too. Kind of that brightness, that citrus with the almond of some sort kind of could be that, you know, culmination of what that, I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, like a spring grass, like fresh and young and bright. Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take a sip because I think that I've smelled the smells and now I'm ready to taste it.
Okay, let's see.
That's right. Let's go.
So did you notice first the bubbles?
Yes.
Take another sip.
All the way around.
Yeah. Be conscious of where did those bubbles go when you took that first sip?
For me, I feel them like almost expanding.
Yeah.
It's kind of being like a velvet. Like Allison said, yes, a huge wave of bubbles. Totally. It just kind of is like the ocean, kind of how when it comes up on the sand and it gets really bubbly, that's exactly what it was.
I even heard it. Like I heard the bubbles in my mouth, just sort of going nuts. And it's so different from, we've tried Prosecco's on here before, and they sort of shoot right to the back of your throat. We've tried Brutes, and they're a little bit more aggressive and just sort of kind of settle at the front of your mouth. This just really, like you said, it's a wave of bubbles that just fills your mouth, and it's
nice. I don't get as much of that kind of breadiness or whatever I was getting in the aroma. I definitely get more apple, pear. There's a little bit of sweetness to it, like from the fruit. But it's really nice. It's really nice.
Right.
What would you say for the body of this one?
It's hard with sparkling, isn't it? Because it's
I feel like I'm being fooled by the bubbles.
I know. It's like it's already effervescent, like it. Yes. So it seems light, but I think with this one, it's probably between a 2 and a 3. Like it. Yeah. Once those bubbles sort of break down, you're left with kind of a presence of it in your mouth.
There, but not something that lingers too long or anything like that.
Right. Exactly.
But the sweetness of this is a 4. Do you agree with that?
Sweetness and sparkling is tricky.
Yeah.
Right. It's confusing.
Because it's just a little tricky anyway.
But y'all come to us and you say, I only want dry wines, right? And then we come to you with sparkling and we say, well, this one's really dry. And you come back and you say, it was so sweet.
Right.
Sparkling runs the opposite direction of still wine, which I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense, but it does. So when you see something that's a brut, it's typically going to be, to the left side of, if sweet was the right and super dry was the left, brut's going to be more towards the left-hand side. This one, I think, in comparison to a sweet wine, isn't that sweet. So the 4 to me is a question mark.
I know. Carrie said, well, I think it's a little bit sweeter because of the fruit. I probably agree with the 4, but I think there's some balance to it because of the bubbles.
Right.
Carrie says that out of a wine glass, it's sweeter. And then she did it out of a coupe glass and it's not as sweet, but more bubbles.
Oh.
So that's an interesting comparison. I've not thought to compare it in glasses to see if it changes the taste, but it only makes sense.
That's true. I do think I've had a lot of this Laura Lee. It's one of my favorites. And I think the first time I had it, I was drinking it out of a flute, an elongated, skinny flute. And I think definitely, it seemed a little bit sharper, brighter back then.
Definitely.
It goes down quick though, so it's hard to really pay attention.
Right. Kristen said that she gets more flavor if she lets it sit in her mouth a bit, and she thinks it's drier than a 4. Yeah, totally. And if you hold it there too, you can almost kind of feel that body and the other characteristics of it too. Like I said, sometimes I think I get fooled by the bubbles because it makes it seem so plush. So
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. The bubbles can be deceiving.
That's right.
Well, what was this one paired with?
I was about to tell you. I think that it's time to eat the taco. So
okay.
This one is with the halibut taco.
Okay.
So we will go ahead and talk about why it pairs. Well, you will while I eat the taco.
Exactly. Erin made the tacos.
I made the tacos.
It's 8:00 where I am, so I had my dinner about 2 hours ago.
Yes. I did mine in little bites. There's the little bite.
So cool. So yeah, we just have a fun little slide here to talk about why Laura Lee Brut with a fish taco. One of the main things is sparkling wines really cut through fattiness and heaviness really nicely. So the fattiness of the fried, even though it's air fried, there's still a bit of, fattiness there. Really going to cut through it really nicely. That slight sweetness is going to offset sort of the spiciness that you have of the tacos. So anytime you're having something that has a little bit of heat to it, you're going to want to pick a little bit of a sweeter wine if you're doing, say, Thai food or Indian food. Like this one would pair really nicely with that as well. And then what do you think, Erin?
I was gonna say, so I think that the spice actually makes the sweetness not so sweet. I still get a lot of the fruit, but it just doesn't make it seem so apparently like, oh yeah, I taste sweetness, but I definitely get the fruit. It still holds up really well. Sometimes with spicy things, I get nervous that I'm gonna kind of lose the wine, and I didn't. It's the bubbles are still very prominent. And really the structure and everything, excuse me, the structure and everything of the wine really has held its own. So perfect pairing. I don't like too spicy things. So I kind of made it more on the moderate side, but it's still super nice. That recipe, y'all, is a repeat. Let me tell you, that is really good. But the wine does really well with it too. I didn't air fry mine because I am late to the party and I do not have an air fryer. But but I skilleted it, and so it does kind of have a crunch to it, and so it does really cut through all of that, the spice and the oil, I guess, and the fattiness of the fish. So spot on, delicious.
Yeah, definitely. And this could also pair great. Our slides back up. You can see we can do it with a mac and cheese. You can do it with some fresh fruit, a charcuterie board. Anything that you kind of want to sparkle up a little bit. Try it with a sparkling and see where it goes.
Absolutely.
If you like this one, what other ones do you think we should try, Erin?
So I think the Cadarce Macabeo would be perfect. It is a still wine, but I actually tried it over the weekend and see a lot of comparisons. A lot of the same kind of fruit tasting notes with the apple and the brightness of it. So that one definitely. We also have a Fifth Note Cellars Sauvignon Blanc. I think that one too, because that one has the bright fruit to it, a little bit of sweetness like this one does. So I think that one would be a nice comparison. And then of course, you can never go wrong with another bubbly. So we also have the Impress extra dry Prosecco that I think would be perfect with it too.
I agree. And try the Lauralee Brut Rosé too.
Yes.
It has its little partner over there. If you haven't tried them both, ask your Wine Concierge to put them in your next order, because they're just both. I can't choose.
I know. Well, I'm just like, you can't go wrong with a bubbly anyway. So just make yourself a custom bubbly package,
That's very true. Now,
Absolutely.
before we move on, how do you store this bubbly? If you don't finish it tonight, what are you going to do? Well, I don't have it here, but there are special stoppers that you can purchase that look like little helmets that you can put on there. Just go on to Amazon or your favorite, wine paraphernalia shop and find a bubbler stopper, and you can purchase them there. And they work great. They just sort of lock on top like a little clamp, and your bubbles will stay good for about 1 to 3 days. You can keep bubbles in the fridge. Anything after that, it's going to kind of lose its structure.
Yeah. I think too that I've stored mine with my vacuum sealer, and it doesn't hold as long because it does. I think the pressure pushes it out, but it does hold overnight till the next day. So I think that the vacuum sealer does pretty well too.
Okay. I don't know if this one's going to need to be stored, but
me neither. We have some more fish taco stuff, so seconds might be happening later.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. The next one we're going to try, we're going to drink some water. The next one we're going to do is our Posted Accord Rosé. This one comes from South Africa. We're going to want to drink this one pretty chilled, 38 to 45 degrees. So straight out of the fridge. Again, this comes from South Africa, from the Swart. Is that how you pronounce it? Swartland
Yeah.
of South Africa. And we can imagine, based on what grapes we know grow in South Africa, Chenin Blanc, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, that this is a blend probably of, if not 2 or 3 of those together. To make a rosé, basically, it's a different process than a red or a white, in that with a white wine, you remove the skins and you just use the juice as it is. With a red wine, you keep those skins on for as long as possible to impart all that color and richness and flavor. With a rosé, you're only going to put the skins in about 1 to 3 days, maybe a week if you're brave, but it's a very short period of time just to impart that little rush of pink color and get that lovely gem color hue that everyone is obsessed with, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
South Africa is known for its hot and dry climate and lots of sunshine. So the grapes that are grown there grow a little bit on the smaller side, but they're super concentrated in their flavor. So that's why so many of you that I'm talking to these days, you're loving the South African wines, and so am I. It's a market that maybe not a lot of people are quick to explore when you go out to your wine shop, but through First Leaf, we can throw one in your box and you can explore, a whole new continent of wine that not a lot of people get to try on a regular basis, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I think that my first experience with a South African wine was with First Leaf. So I think that, obviously I always think that we're the best for if you want to experiment and try new things. So I think that having me personally that was able to do that, it's kind of cool because, I wasn't exposed to South African wines beforehand. So
no, I mean, when you go to a big wine store and you see all those regions around the room, if you're going to drop some change down,
yeah,
you're going to want to go to a region that you recognize. So it's fun to get to try all these new fun areas.
Yes.
So this one has an ABV, alcohol by volume, of about 11.5%. Let's take a look at that color. That pretty color.
I know. I was like, it's not quite pink. It's not quite salmon. It's almost like a watermelon color. You know what I mean? It's kind of that lighter pink, but a little bit darker salmon. Yeah, Christine says apricot. I think that that's probably a good comparison, almost like a peachy color.
Yeah, I agree. I like them a little bit darker. I like.
Ooh, Nadine said copper. That is a really good description. I wouldn't have even thought to use copper as a description.
No, but that's a good one.
That's a really good rose gold. Kristen says rose gold.
Yeah, I get the rose gold, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just glad to be able to swirl. I feel like it's in my wrist at this point. I can't not swirl.
It was unnatural before to hold it, but now I can just swirl away and try to
swirl away. I know. But it is, especially when it's swirling, you definitely get the copper rose gold kind of that, almost those, I mean, they're metals, and I don't want to say that it's a metal color, but you know what I'm saying. It's kind of that
jewelry.
metallic.
It's jewelry. It's jewelry for your wine glass.
There you go. There you go. So now that we're swirling, what are you getting on the nose? I get a lot of berries, raspberry.
Yeah. Strawberry.
Christine said raspberry. Haley says strawberry.
Definitely get strawberry.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
after a couple swirls, prominent strawberry. Lauren says strawberry too. Ooh, Michelle says guava or papaya.
Okay. I'm not as familiar with those fruits. Those are some that I need to go smell at my local grocery store.
I know.
I've had it, but so another trick, if you feel like you're not getting Oh, candied fruit. Yeah, I can see it.
Veronica,
Like the
I'm
more
looking
it
at
warms
that.
up and opens up, it gets a little bit
Mhm.
sweeter, a little bit more candied. If you're still like, I don't smell anything, sometimes what helps is to put your hand over the glass and swirl it. I know I've talked to you guys about this before, and then go in. Oh, and it's like, whoo. Yeah, no, that I get a little bit more floral then when I do that.
This method, I do have to use like my entire body to swirl it, which is fine. It's worth it. I want to smell the smells. But
Well,
you know,
it's
when you're
part
doing that, you have
workout,
to really,
part drinking exercise. Think about, I mean, all those
That's
hula
worth
hoop
it.
exercise.
very worth it.
Yeah,
I'm about to taste it now.
okay.
And the strawberry is still there for me.
Mm-hmm.
Very much still on the strawberry, that bright red crisp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not super sweet.
Mm-mm.
It definitely has a nice presence to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the body, yeah, a 3.
Let me see.
It definitely hangs out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a little weight to it. And it, yeah, you're right. It does linger a little bit more.
Yeah. Some
Let's see what
cherry.
I was thinking, yeah, cherry. Are y'all, does that mean it's good? If it has a mood, does that mean it's a good thing? I think it does, right?
What kind of mood? I don't know.
I don't know. A rosé is definitely, I think that it's given that idea that you can only drink it at certain times, but it's definitely one of those ones that you should be able to drink. I mean, drink it all the time. Yes, in the
Yeah.
summer, but yes, during the winter. I think it's perfect. It's one of those easy wines to kind of be able to transition seasons as you kind of go back and forth if you kind of get in a red rut or a white rut. But anyway, yes, definitely 3 of body, I agree with. What do you think about the acidity of it?
I think the acidity is light, and I like that. It's like so many people have said, it's very smooth. It's a great sipping one. There's not a lot of acidity in there. It's just really chill. Just
Yes,
chill,
yes. It is chill. And I think that the sweetness being kind of moderate and the fruit being moderate, the acidity being lower, it's all super balanced. So I think that that helps too. I
Agreed.
think that it's just a really perfectly balanced, easy drinking rosé.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this would be great, as you said, all year, but all day too. I mean, this is your brunch rosé. This is your, I saw someone talk about pair it with some dessert. Like, yeah, you could drink this from morning, noon, and night and see where it takes you.
Or the beach. I see you, Shirley, and I agree with the beach. I second that. I think rosé is perfect for the beach.
It is.
As I'm swirling this and the more it's warming up and the more that I'm just kind of going back, I do get a little bit of pomegranate too. Just all of the red fruits.
Yeah.
It's just got a little bit, I definitely get the strawberry, but now I'm starting to get a little bit more. I know that's a weird thing to say, but to me, pomegranate sometimes has a deeper smell than a strawberry. Does that make sense? So I think that like, as I'm going back to it, I get that more, that depth and that more concentrated smell of pomegranate.
Yeah, to me, this has that sort of strawberry lemonade note that I want in a rosé. I don't know. I think it's a mental thing for me. I see the color. I want it to taste a certain way. And I think definitely, this one definitely delivers for me, at least in that realm.
Yeah.
Strawberry, the brightness, a little tart. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Perfect.
I love it.
So
taco
time.
That's right. So this one we have pairing with the cauliflower taco. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a little nibble and see why we think it pairs.
Let's bring up our slides so we can talk a little bit about why the rosé and the cauliflower go so well together. Fruitiness of the rosé kind of cuts through that earthy, cruciferous cauliflower, what we're talking about, that sort of cabbagey cauliflower and broccoli, they all have that sort of earthiness. If you put a little extra salt on your taco, it's going to bring out that fresh fruit of the rosé, really brighten it up, bring that strawberry note out, some of that pomegranate note. And we kind of felt that in reality, the rosé could have gone with any of the tacos. I mean, this one in particular is so versatile. It's got enough presence to it that it could stand up against that carne asada, but it's light enough and bright enough that the fish one would go well, as does the cauliflower. So this is sort of our MVP of the taco pairing today. Who finished the bottle? Someone finished the
Yes.
I'll finish the brute. No, just move on to the rosé now, Jennifer. It's okay.
So I still stand by what I said at the beginning, that if you season cauliflower or some other meat alternative with the correct spices, it will fool you because you almost don't think that you're eating cauliflower. So
Yeah.
definitely stand by that it has that smokiness that you want from a taco. It has a little bit of the spice that you want from a taco. Very, very well done. And you're totally right. Even though there's not a whole lot of acidity and it's not very tart, it still does help to kind of cut through the heaviness of the spices. Definitely get more pomegranate actually when I go back and taste the wine after the taco. So it almost brings it a little bit like a little bit more depth to the wine.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, a wine and food pairing, it should enhance both parties. Sometimes we think, oh, the wine will enhance the food or the food will enhance the wine, but I think it goes both ways. So for me, I always do a sip, a bite, a sip, a bite, a sip.
Yep.
And it just makes this like harmonious pairing of like angels singing when you eat the taco. And that to me is just perfect. It is perfection. So definitely more fruit, definitely still holds its structure. It's just a really nice pairing. Nice pairing.
I really like this rosé. I think that it just has a nice sparkle to it that I want in my pink wine.
Absolutely.
So if you like this one, what are other first leaf wines?
Yes. So if you were looking for, so we have the Ophidian Rose, which is another one from South Africa. So I think that one is perfect to kind of compare. If you're looking for a domestic option, we have the Daring Escape Rosé, which I really, really love that one. And I do kind of also get that strawberry lemonade feel, but also to the Right Now Rosé. Super good on like the depth of berry and the layers of berry that Right Now Rosé also has. So I think that those would be really nice.
Yeah. And I think if you like this one and you want to explore more South African wines, try one of our Chenin Blancs, try one of the South African Cabs,
Also too, Haley mentioned that the rosé from the Paris tasting. So that was from the springtime in France, and it was the Chateau Philippe Jacques Bordeaux Rosé. Agreed. I think that those would be super good to compare to. And if you like this, you'll love that too.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Definitely a good pairing.
Definitely agree. All right. Well, one last sip and then we'll move on.
So I know that typically you can store a still bottle of wine with the vacuum sealer and all that, but it's so funny. That rosé is so good too that I don't know leftovers.
Well, I mean, I would use the vacuum sealer, use a Haley's corker, stick the cork back in as far as you can go, stick it in the fridge. You're good for about 3 to 5 days.
I know.
If it can last that long.
That's right. 3 to 5 days is pushing it.
Exactly. And that's if you have to go out of town or something.
That's right.
All right, our last wine, the prettiest one of the bunch. I don't know if anyone can deny that. This Musa Nattoria Tempranillo. I love this label.
Gorgeous.
So
Yeah.
it just, it
really
speaks to
pretty.
me. It speaks
Mhm.
to me in a romantic sense. I
Very.
want to drape red velvet on things and light candles and have a picnic on the floor with this wine. Tempranillo, typically a Spanish grape, grown primarily in Spain. You won't find it too many other places, but so it's mostly Spain. Known very much for the main grape in what we know as Rioja wines. So the two most popular grapes in those are typically Tempranillo or Garnacha. This being Tempranillo means temporary, short period of time. And that's because the Tempranillo grape spends not a lot of time in the vineyard. It's one of the first red grapes that they harvest, actually. So it's got a little bit more acidity, a little bit more bite to it. It doesn't have that full time to really mature and develop those sugars. So to counteract that, they age it in oak typically for a little bit longer to sort of mellow it out and import more of that oakiness, the vanilla notes, the tobacco and coconut notes from the oak barrel. So you'll get a lot of that in these. Tannins, usually on the lighter to medium side. They're not going to, really dry your mouth out too much. And that's what's going to make this really great for some of your, grilled meats. And it's a very food universally friendly red wine. Thick skin, black grape, grown in the sunshine, living its best life. This one in particular has a little bit less of an ABV than we see in some of our reds. It's only 12%. So it's another one that you can, sip away on and not get that sort of flush sometimes that you get from those heavier red wines. What do we think of the color? We're going to swirl this one around, take a look. It's fun to look at the edges of red wine to see kind of what it looks like on the rim. I see a little bit of purple. It's more ruby, I guess. Ruby red on the edge.
A little bit of I won't say brown. I don't think it has a brown edge, but a little bit getting into that kind of color family, that almost gold at the rim. I'm looking at the rim. But going into the actual, it's almost a root. Yeah, I definitely see some ruby.
Yeah, definitely.
But it changes as it goes towards the edge for sure, I think.
Lots of burgundies in the comments. Yeah, it's not as dark and heavy.
Yeah.
No, I can see through it. I can see my wine stem through it.
I just took a smell as I was swirling.
I know.
It does smell so good.
It does.
I get those, and for as light as it shows, the smells are so powerful.
It is. I was kind of surprised.
So rich. Yeah, fig.
I definitely get the floral, like the rose.
Little hint of it. Yeah, yeah. And I have a hard time picking out floral and herb, but I'm getting better at it the more that I taste. But
this one for sure, though. I definitely get that.
Plum.
Yeah, I'm almost getting. I see a lot of people saying they're enjoying it with chocolate. I almost get like a little bit of a
chocolate to it,
of like a mocha almost, not super strong, but
I'm interested in what everybody else is getting aroma wise.
Everyone's too focused on what they're eating.
I know. There's a little bit of something to it at the end, though. Hold on.
Yeah, there's a brightness at the I get the leather. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me see.
It's woodsy, earthy. It's definitely a deeper smelling red than I thought it was going to be based on
for sure
what I had read about it.
But definitely a brightness at the end. It's pretty distinct to me. I just can't place what it is that it smells like,
Dawn
there's
thinks this
definitely
one's the MVP. I saw you not agree with me with the rosé is the MVP before. You're voting for the Tempranillo. Okay.
well, it's the cool thing about it is we all taste something different, and it's fun to talk about it and compare. So my MVP is different than Lindsay's, and it's different than Lauren's, and it's different than Dawn's, and that's great.
That's the beauty of wine, right?
That is the beauty of
As
wine.
long as you
for
like
sure.
it, who cares what anybody else thinks? All right, well, then let's taste it. I think
Yes.
everyone's already beat us to it.
Smooth. Very smooth. That's like my first, that was the first thing that came to my mind was the smoothness. It's velvety, you know.
It's brighter than I expected it to be.
And I get a teeny bit of sweetness to it, but it's just the fruit sweetness, like any kind of sweetness that you would get biting into an apple or a banana, obviously different fruit flavors, but it's that kind of sweetness.
Right.
But what do you think of the body of it?
I think it's a 3.
Yeah, good middle ground.
Yeah, it's not super light, but it's not really rich and heavy. Like I would drink this on a warmer day. You know, it's getting warm out.
I get it lingers a little bit, not too long, but just enough to really kind of reinforce those flavors and those fruits that you get. You know?
And I like that. Like I love, you know, summertime, nighttime fire pit, hanging out.
Yeah.
I think this is a great one for that. Like it's not going to be too heavy and overpowering. It's going to go great with my s'mores. And
I don't think it's too acidic. I think it's pretty light on the acid.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I know that we say that it's a sweetness of 3. I don't know. I would say even maybe a 2.5. I don't think it's as sweet to say it's moderately sweet. What do you think?
I don't know. Something I found about our wines that I know I share with a lot of my customers is that I tend to look at that's, especially when it's a 3 of sweetness, I look at what the fruit notes, what the notes are in general. If they say it's a 3 and it's got notes of like chocolate and leather and black currant, to me, it's going to feel not as sweet as if it's got notes of like strawberry and cherry, red cherry, that sort of thing. So this having that sort of like plum, floral, dark cherry note, I think it settles nicely in at that 3 mark. It's a nice fruit forward, but not overpoweringly so. Tempranillos are known for their dark fruit notes, and I think this one really nicely expresses that. Yeah, fig, definitely lots of fig here.
Yeah, because I think to me, even just a fig in general, when I go to the market and I get a fig, it kind of has that rich flavor with a touch of sweetness, but it's not too sweet, even as a fruit itself. So yeah, I definitely get where that is present.
Yeah, that sort of concentrated, dried fruit.
Yes, totally. What do you think about the tannins?
I don't know if the tannins are at a 2 for me. I know they're supposed to be on the lighter side. I think maybe they're like a 2.5, a 3. I don't know. I get a little bit more of that sort of drying effect than I anticipated. When I saw a 2 in tannin, I like my red wine to be up there in tannins. I like a lot of tannin. So I was a little nervous about this one, but I think this one, it definitely holds its own in the tannin department.
Yeah. Because for me, sometimes if the tannins get really high, they become this sticky kind of chewy. And so I don't get that, but they're definitely present.
Like right. But it's not that like slippery.
Right. There's a structure to it, but it's not something that's making me like need a drink of water or
not making my jaw.
Not sticking to my teeth.
Yeah.
You know, so Sue asks, what does a higher tannin do? It's just the structure of it, and it's this drying effect on the sides of your mouth and on your tongue. And so in one of the classes that we took, she said that it was like fuzzy sweaters on your teeth. So it's like this, just drying effect. It comes from the skins of the grapes. So I've even experienced it with just eating some really dark red grapes, that I'll chew the grape and it's over, and I have this like drying effect that's there. And so,
Or even think if you
Yeah.
have a cup of black tea, you know, that you don't add milk or sugar to, just a cup of black tea, and that feeling that your mouth gets where you're just kind of like, oh, that's tannins are in black tea, they're in grapes, they're just that sort of astringent drying effect. Just how often do you lick sandpaper? Not anymore that often. But
well, I'm laughing too because Lauren said, I didn't expect Lindsay and Aaron to like this one as much as they did because they usually like heavier tannins. That's true.
it's true.
And I do like a high tannin. I like a chew. I like that texture to it. It just adds another element. But this to me, it still stands up enough that I don't feel like I don't feel like it's water. I feel like it definitely still has some really good structure to it.
Exactly. If you talk to me on the phone, you know that I like to feel like I'm drinking wine when I'm drinking red wine. I don't want to think I'm drinking my daughter's grape juice box. Like, I want a little bit of a kick to it. And this one presents that kick that, you're right, Lauren, I didn't think I was gonna find, but I like it.
I got a kick. I got the kick. But I'm ready to taste the taco. So
The last one,
The
the
last
carne
one.
asada.
carne asada. And I'll be honest, personally, when I order a taco on my own, it will probably be beef or steak of some sort. So I'm ready.
Okay. So this is her jam right now. She is.
Yeah, this
into
is my
talent.
jam.
All right. So why did we choose the Tempranillo to pair with the steak taco? Well, not only does typically red wine goes with red meat, but this one is a little bit lower in the oak and the tannins, so it makes it a perfect pairing for that carne asada to not distract from that sort of smoky grilled quality that you're going to get by grilling that meat. The lower ABV in a Tempranillo helps to not amplify any spice that you added to your taco. So I know this particular taco recipe wasn't really heavy in the spice, but we all know there are those of us out there who add hot sauce to everything. So if you wanted to toss on a little bit of tapatio or sriracha or anything like that, sometimes if it's a higher ABV, you'll really bring out the alcohol when you add spice to wine, and you'll just sense the alcohol a lot more and it won't be as enjoyable. Fun fact that you all already figured out, this wine will go really well with chocolate. I think that the s'mores idea is fantastic. And when I have my annual 4th of July fire pit and fireworks party at my house, I think this Tempranillo would be fantastic to serve to my friends and family to go with our s'mores. Because I agree, it's a really lush, fruit forward, but not too fruity, really nice medium bodied red wine. What do you think, Erin? How'd it go?
Yes. So I didn't think that I was going to have time to grill the steak. So I was concerned that I was going to have to skillet fry it and I would kind of miss out on that smokiness, but I did get to grill it. And you're so right. The richness of this wine is just so amplified. It almost is more velvety. And it's probably mental because I know that I'm pairing it with the steak, but it almost makes it just a little bit more plush, a little bit more velvety. So very good pairing. The tannins become not so dusty and present, but it's not to the point where it's slick and it's not flabby. The wine still holds its structure. The steak was delicious. Another great taco recipe. Definite shout out to Duane because these recipes were incredible and they paired so perfectly with these wines. But yeah, this one just makes the wine more plush, more flavorful. It's incredible. And I know that he mentioned that he learned to cook because he loved to eat, and I definitely feel that I relate. So so to me, this was just the perfect tasting. And we definitely saved a really great taco for last. So I think that this was delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think even if you were to do this with like a mushroom taco or even a bean taco, I'm not
Right.
one to shy away from a black bean taco every once in a while. And I think this one would be really nice for that too.
Savory. Yeah, I think it just needs savory. And to me, a steak is kind of heavy, whereas mushrooms and beans also can be transformed into be heavy for a mushroom. So I think that you're right. Definitely would be a good swap out if you aren't a steak person.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right. Well, if you loved this one,
we have
options
a
for
couple
others.
others. Yes. So we have the Cadarce Tempranillo, we have the Merce Carme Monastrell, and they also have a Tempranillo, as well as the Aculina Sangiovese.
Yes.
So we've got a couple Spanish wines that have similar tasting notes, similar mouth feels and structure and things like that. But the Sangiovese is also a really good comparison because it's also one of those moderate wines that can hold their own when they're drunk alone, but it also really pairs well with food. So
and I like the Aculina because it has this sort of interesting tanginess to it that just is crying out for food to pair with it. Like it's similar to this. Like it just has that question mark, and they're like, "What is that?" And then I had it with pizza about a week ago, and it was just fantastic.
Perfect. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think you're right. And they because they have that craving to be paired with food, they are easy to pair with.
Exactly.
So if you're not if you don't want to do the tacos, or if creating an Italian dish is a little daunting, which they can be, those will pair well with really anything you want to eat.
Yeah. And so many of you ask us time and time again, how do I pair wine with food? What's the secret? And there's really no secret. What do you like to eat? What do you like to drink? You'll figure out what goes well together. One key phrase to remember: what grows together goes together. So, I mean, this Tempranillo went great with those sort of Spanish spices because that works out. A Sangiovese is going to go great with an Italian tomato-based pasta dish because it goes together, it grows together. But really, it's what do you like? Wine shouldn't be intimidating and scary. It should just be fun, and drink what you like, eat what you like, put them together, see what works.
Absolutely. Well, I did already see Lauren putting some links in the chat section. So we have our wonderful Instagram influencer and chef and healthy choice, Duane. And I think I saw her put it up a little bit earlier, but his handle is at Healthy Choice, healthy with an I.
Yep.
And then 2, if you want to book with Lindsay or I, Lauren will put the link for us in there as well. And then also just the link to find a wine concierge, because as I've said many times, we really love talking to our members. We really enjoy interacting with y'all. And this is all just kind of fun to explore and try new things. And I feel like I'm always on the ride with you guys. So I just love to experiment and experience the wines with you guys too.
Yeah. We love to hear what you're loving. If you were intrigued by any of these similar wines we talked about, reach out to us, let us know. We can always pop them in your club box for you and make sure you're getting exactly what you want every month. Exactly. And drum roll, the next tasting we have is going to be in June 9th. And it is going to be rosé all day.
And it's not technically been announced yet. So you guys are getting the early access to it.
Yep.
So
yes. So we're going to post the link in the chat for early access purchase. Contact your wine concierge. We can help you out. We'll talk you through what you're going to get, what we're going to talk about. It's going to be Erin, and Lauren. You're going to see Lauren back next month, and it's going to be so much fun because
Yeah.
if you liked this rosé, we've got a ton more coming for you that you're going to love.
Absolutely. You will be getting a survey in the next 48 hours as well. So be sure to take it. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you're looking for. Or if you have any questions, we're here. You know, like I said, we love interacting with you guys. So any questions you have, anything you're wanting to learn, definitely let us know. I saw that Anna asked if we have a Facebook group. It's not actually led by us, but we do have a First Leaf Wine Club Lovers Facebook page, and it's actually run by one of our members. She's awesome. And it's a lot of fun. So definitely join that. And then as always, just kind of keep an eye on your emails, the social media pages, as well as the next tasting coming up. We always have cool stuff going on. So keep your eye out. And this was fun. I had a really good time tonight. I'm glad that we're here.
Yeah, and keep an eye on the Facebook. Erin does a Wine Down Wednesday about every other week where she highlights a specific wine that we're, loving at the time. And we will definitely try to get Duane back. Lots of requests for more Duane. So
I was gonna say popular demand here. So
exactly. I think what we'll see on the survey is a lot of requests for Duane. So we will try to get him back for something in the future, see what he can help us out with. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. It was so great hanging out with you guys. It was good hanging out with you, Erin.
Yes, it was really fun. All right. Y'all have a good rest of the night.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, guys.
Bye.
Bye.